And here we are at Rising Dogs headquarters in Wolverhampton, and I'm here with Mr. Christian Garrington, who is the lead vocalist and lead guitarist for Rising Dogs. And today we're going to be talking about his rig, his pedals, his guitars, the sounds that he uses, and I can already tell that there's a lot here to talk about. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so Chris, the PRS.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So this is a PRS NF3. The reason why I bought this is because of these pickups here. They're known as, I think they're called deep dish, deep something pickups. Basically, they've got like thicker sort of windings on the pickup itself, so they're much deeper. So that essentially gives you a similar tone to a normal single pickup. And the reason why I liked that idea was because the single coils tend to be really kind of noisy, there's not as much sustain, whereas these are essentially humbuckers, so you get a lot more sustain, but it sounds like a single coil. So this I've been playing for the last sort of month, and it just sounds great. And this sort of neck here is so smooth, there's no sort of sticky sort of residue or anything like that, which you sometimes get with the varnish on some of the necks. But this is a great guitar, and that's the reason why I've chosen this. So I started off using modelers probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I've always preferred valves, pedals, but it got to a point where I wanted a bit more control, and I started, I never used to like digital sort of tones or sounds, but they've got so much better since Kemper's become obviously quite massive. And I was going to get a Kemper, and at the time, during the pandemic, and I was going to get a Kemper, and I was about to hit the button, and decided, someone told me, oh, the new Quad Cortex is coming out, and I thought, I've got to give that a try. So I got the Quad Cortex, great modeler, but the pedals are really close together, so the form factor's not great. So playing and I'm singing, and I'm just glancing down to press a pedal, the Quad Cortex is just way too small. So I went from the Quad Cortex and then went to a Kemper, tried that out, thought it was great, but I wanted a bit more sort of a visual above each of my pedals. And then comes in the Fractal FM9. Now this beast, tone-wise it's great. I eventually dialed in what sort of amp I wanted. So I've got my clean there, and that's just like a sparkly clean sound. I've got my crunch and edge there, which I can switch between the two. So you can see when I press it once, I press it twice, it goes between those. Then I've got my drive, which is a much heavier sort of tone, and then I've got my solo, and that brings in delay, a bit of compression, so I've got some more sustain as well. And I've got reverb as well that I can switch on and off. So I've got my wah, and that's on all the time, on all the different sounds and tones that I've got. And then I've also got the whammy. So the traditional I think it's a Digitech whammy pedal, it sounds great, but there's very little control over the tone. So when you got like an octave sound, it kind of wobbles a little bit. But in the FM9, you can control that and refine that, so it's absolutely pristine. It doesn't move around. So in terms of control, this is absolutely great. Put the whammy on now, you got like a, and it doesn't move around too much. It holds on the octave. So got the wall there. put that on the clean, you can really hear the... Oh, it's got a delay on there, hang on. So when I'm singing as well, I literally only have to glance down and I can see each of my pedals and I can see each of the scribble strips, as they're called, just above each of the pedals. So this is a perfect digital modeler for me. Now the big things about digital, when you've got your headphones on or if you're recording it, they sound great. Amp in the room has been the big thing. So hearing what you're playing and feeding the trousers starting to flap when you've got a proper real valve amp. I'm using an FRFR cab, which is this thing here, the Fender. This is perfect for digital modelers. It sounds like a real amp in the room, but it's took a while to get to that point where it feels like I'm playing a real amp. But the total control that I have utilising digital modelling now, with all the different effects that we'll use, it's just perfect for me. I might eventually go back to certain pedals, and yes, the amp in the room is perfect really, but when you're doing a mix of, say, recording at home or in the studio, you can record your ideas and your thoughts via this, so it works as an audio interface as well. So I've got some switchy on and offs here for delay. I've got like a nice reverb there as well. So. Flanger. Oh, I've got a trem. A song called Flashman. This is a riff that we lead. So you can hear the shimmer sort of tailing off on that as well, and that's a mix of the whammy and the shimmer at the same time. So literally this thing does everything I need it to do. From a technical point of view, I've got like the output here, XLR, that goes out to the FRFR, so I can be heard in the room. There's another jack here that goes straight into the mixer over there. Mark, our bass player, can record everything directly out of this, and if we play a gig, instead of micing up an amp, it can come directly out of this straight to the mixing desk, so there's even more control and less noise and hassle. Lots of different tones, filters, different instruments. It's great. So that's my rig rundown. I forgot the freaking name of it.
So keep going. I can cut that. That's fine.
Cut.